You're listening to Winnipeg's Classic 107. My name is Simon Rusnak. When we last heard from Winnipeg's Camerata Nova, they showed their true metal in an arrangement of Iron Maiden's Run to the Hills. They've since released another online musical offering, and I would hardly call this one a retreat, but it is a sort of return to their more typical Renaissance selves. We've reached music director Mel Braun, executive director Roland Deschambault, and vocalist fiddle player Raine Hamilton. Hello, all.
Hi there, Simon.
Hi, Simon.
Hey, Raine, I'd like to begin with you and by asking the question that everybody's been asking, how you been keeping these past few months?
Oh, goodness. Well, a lot of adjusting and then just a lot of leaning in to the change. What an exercise in acceptance and adjustment.
That is a great way to put it. I have to say, I was at your outdoors socially distanced show on Wednesday, and it was.
Oh, you were?
I was, and it was one of the very few live shows that I've seen the past few months, and it was both like invigorating and calming at the same time, and I think that has everything to do with you and the Raine Hamilton String Trio and the songs you write and the music you perform. Now that performance came shortly after the release of this latest Camerata Nova number. What's it been like performing again, online and in person?
Well, it's my favorite thing to do. So to be back at it really is helping me feel like purposeful and on track with existing. And because there's fewer opportunities, I feel like I'm getting better at savoring the opportunities that do exist, right?
Yep.
And so, so precious was that experience of rehearsing with Camerata Nova and recording and preparing that piece, and same with rehearsing and performing that show. So I feel like I'm getting really good at just like zoning right in, being even more present.
Yeah, totally being in the moment. Roland, I want to bring you into the conversation here. Before Camerata Nova, you spent a number of years working with Manitoba Music. Is that where you first met Raine?
Yeah, that's exactly where I first met Raine. I think you probably like many years ago now came in for like a consult, a career consult.
Yeah.
And then since that time, we've been like, she's been part of a lot of the songwriting retreats that I put together in my time there. And I've just watched her become, I mean, she was always an incredible artist, but to be able to work with her now is amazing.
And can you speak a little bit more to that? I mean, here you are as the executive director, videographer, and photographer of Camerata Nova. But again, this isn't the first time the ensemble and Raine have worked together. What do you think really works about this particular collaboration?
Well, there's a trust thing. And I know that with Raine, we're going to get the absolute most professional and top quality performance every single time. And she's going to come in and make everyone around her better and just be happy and enjoy the whole experience. She said that in herself, it's invigorating, and it's the same to have her.
Mel, would you agree? Is there just a happiness abound when you guys all get together to perform?
There is, but there's also a shared background, and you probably know this, Simon, but Raine has a degree in medieval musicology. So yeah, there's already a language of connection. And then when you put that together with the roots music that Raine does and her sensibility, which matches really well with our sensibility, try new stuff, see what happens.
So speaking of trying new stuff and seeing what happens, a Neapolitan Villanesca, I guess I should begin by asking, can you tell us a little bit about what a Villanesca is, Mel?
Well, it's a folk kind of song that would have been sung by everybody, I think. But in this case, Adrian Willaert took the piece. He wrote it and arranged it. 1545, I think that's the date that we have. And it's a sort of street song. So in the case of this one, of course, it's in Italian. It goes to town ripping up people that gossip. That's what it's about. So we had this idea in the Camerata style of trying new things with old music, of updating the lyrics a little bit. So I don't know if you've done a direct translation of it, but we couldn't quite use the words that were there. They don't play very well in our the way we do things now with being politically correct. So we changed the translation a little bit and decided to do part English and part Italian to reinforce the message. Because the whole idea that gossips, whether it's on Twitter or social media or the paper or at the local coffee shop, get in everybody's way, that's not new. So it was an amazingly current piece to put together. And when we were doing the putting together, it made sense to involve Raine because there's a great fiddle part to play.
It was fun to play that. It was
wasn't
great.
that great?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so rhythmic. And as Roland has said many times, this is just an out and out pop song. And what then happened, putting it with the introduction and the ending, having Raine set the tone for it with one of the typical Camerata drones, it played into all the things that we wanted to have happen.
Raine, one of the things you mentioned in your show on Wednesday was the drone in medieval music, calling it, I think, the drum and bass machine of Renaissance. If you were doing drone. Can you tell us a little bit more about how Renaissance music influences you and your songwriting? I know Hildegard von Bingen is one of the great influences for you.
Absolutely. So I really got interested in medieval and Renaissance music in university, and it was just one of those things that just resonated with me. And I pursued more study of that and performance of that. So I played in the medieval Renaissance ensemble, the Collegium at U of M, for my whole time there. And then
Dr.
I went
Burleson.
on to do...
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, he's just the best. And then I went on to do a master's of musicology and medieval studies at University of Ottawa. So I got really, really deep into a study of manuscript fragments and notation systems and historical context there, which I love. And there's just something about this sonority and the approach to consonants and sound of that time period that I really love. And so I just went for it. And I definitely weave that into my approach. I feel like it affects the way that I phrase things, because the concept of stressed beats and phrasing are very, very different in that time period. It's very tied to language, which fits in for sure with what I do. And then also, I love the soundscape that's possible, the harmonic options that are possible writing modally. So there's a lot that I draw on for sure from that. And actually on my next record, there is like an imitative polyphony that I wrote and we recorded.
There's I think also a real mystical quality to both when you speak of those sonorities and your writing and sort of that ethereal aspect. And I mean, this particular piece of music, more of a pop song, as Mel mentioned, a gripe on people who chit chat all day long. And I think that's probably a good segue to stop talking about the music and actually hear it. So Raine, Roland, and Mel, thanks so much for taking the time to chat with us here at Classic 107 today.
Such a pleasure. Thank you.
You bet. Thanks, Simon.
And here is Camerata Nova performing Vecchie Letrose featuring Raine Hamilton, singing a modern translation, though I don't think limited to 140 characters.